Hi, my name's Paige. I'm going to be doing number 2, which is developing a rationale for appropriate inclusion of students with disabilities and differences in music classrooms and ensembles. So I'm going to start now. Good evening, members of the board, faculty, administrators, teachers, and community members. I just wanted to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with you tonight about an issue that is not only educational, but is deeply important to myself. This is the inclusion of students with disabilities in our music classes and ensembles. Music is one of the most unifying experiences we offer in our schools. Having students part of choirs, bands, and ensembles brings them together of all kinds of backgrounds to create something that's bigger than themselves. Yet, too often, students of different disabilities are often excluded from these opportunities, which sometimes is unintentional, but is still not acceptable nonetheless. It is the denial of something that is fundamental to their learning. This is the right to a free, appropriate public education, the now acronym FAPE, in their least restrictive learning environment, which is their LRE in layman's terms. I just wanted to talk briefly about 2 court cases that helped shape what FAPE really means today. The first court case was in 1982. This was Board of Education versus Raleigh. The student at the center of this case was named Amy. She was a young girl who happened to be deaf. Her parents fought for her to have a sign language interpreter so she could truly learn in her least restrictive learning environment, just like her peers, and be a part of her classrooms. But what the court decided was that schools don't have to guarantee that every student reaches their fullest potential. Instead, they must provide a program that is reasonably designed to offer meaningful educational benefit. Amy's case, in this example, was the first Supreme Court case that defined FAPE in practice. And while it set a really good baseline that students are entitled to get real progress and is not just there for public show, it also revealed the truth that equality in education is not guaranteed, and you have to fight for it, and you must protect it, as her parents had to fight for her to get an interpreter or for her to get the best education that they could offer her. And it set the baseline for real educational progress for people who have disabilities. Decades later, in 2017, this definition became refined with another court case. This was Andrew F. Douglas County School District versus the Douglas County School District. This is better known as Drew's case. He was a student with autism, and his parents believed the school was offering him an education that was only providing him the smallest amount of progress. The Supreme Court agreed, and they ruled that the child's education program must be appropriately ambitious and tailored to that child's needs. The court rejected the idea that merely more than minimal progress was enough. Instead, schools had to offer students something that was real and challenging for the student to grow, which this developed from Amy's case, which she was just given an option rather than given something that truly had her grow. So this is some real progress in our judicial system for the FAPE. So, like I said, what do these things teach us about music education? They tell us that it is our responsibility to let students with disabilities sit in the rehearsal room or give them a small part, no matter what. It is our responsibility to make sure they have a meaningful and enriching experience in music. These experiences are comparable to the same thing that they would experience in the regular classroom, not just in our specialty class. Sadly, it's not always the case, and across America, students with disabilities are often placed in programs and denied access to choirs, orchestras, and bands. Sometimes they are told that the ensembles are too advanced for them, and they're not even given the support or space that where they can thrive, which goes against everything that we've worked for in our government and our nation. I mean, I could keep going on and on about why it is so important to give them what they are legally allowed to have. So pretty much, being inclusive of students of disabilities in music classrooms is not optional. They are rights that every student in school should employ, and legal consequences should be employed if they aren't given. So, I just urge you tonight to support these policies and practices and ensure students with disabilities are given the opportunities that they deserve in music classrooms. So I thank you for listening to me tonight, and have a great night.